the cuff.
Off the cuff.
Why
I'm
does it
checking my
keep
cuff.
doing
I'm off
this?
the cuff. Oh.
Miguel Joy in a portrait. Or yeah, that's fine. It's alright. It keeps telling me shit. Okay. Welcome to my podcast, Mike.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me. I
Oh,
mean, I figured that I wouldn't be on so soon, to be honest with you.
well, I when I had the idea of a podcast in mind, you were like one of the first person I thought about, and I know we talked about this before
Yeah.
when we were working together, and we're gonna get into that in a second. I just want to share all the links and stuff on the social medias real quick, and then
Okay. Cool.
then we can go ahead and get into this.
Let's get digging.
Yeah. Let's see. Here we go. So we met at Hertrick's, the Hertrick Automotive World, dealership world. Um, I remember when before you got there, because it was I think because you worked in the BDC, and for people that don't know, BDC stands for Business Development Center. Um, so like you were like basically the first person to get in any of the incoming calls in the dealership. And then you were like, just slinging them around, distributing to like which which calls needed to go where. But I do remember when, like right before you started, it was just Christy that was in our BDC department, and she was so like she did not want anyone to be like, because they said that you were going to be the new BDC manager, and
Right.
she was like, why are we having a BDC manager? I've been doing this, like we don't need one. Like what is even the purpose of having this extra person here to do what I'm already doing and perfectly fine. And like I feel like you weren't even there that long, and the whole tune kind of changed because like you're a pretty awesome dude. I don't know if you know that about yourself. You might know that, but I think you're pretty cool.
I
Um,
try to be humble.
so um, so I know you like worked in BDC, but like, can you like just like walk me through like how you got to like because I kind of know a little bit, but like everyone else don't know. So if you want to divulge that information, it's up to you.
Sure. Yeah. How I got to Hertrick Capital, Mazda, Lincoln, and Suzuki.
Suzuki, they don't
Yeah,
count.
you can't
That's not
forget
on.
Suzuki.
That's not on the building anymore.
But nonetheless, we still serviced recalls for Suzuki, so
Yeah,
therefore we were still Suzuki.
yeah, we sure
I
did. I
was,
hated that.
yeah. Well, it all kind of started when I got hired at Hertrick Nissan in 2014, and originally I was a salesperson, and
Okay.
then from there I was a salesperson for a few months and realized I can't sell a car to nobody. Uh, Knew all the information about the vehicles, knew how the process was to take place, had no social skills to do it. So after 3 months of just doing terrible, I went to my general manager and I said, "Hey, I think I should be in BDC. I should be behind the phone because I was leading the whole entire sales floor and scheduling appointments for sales, but I couldn't close any of them because every time I saw a group of people, I ran to the hills and Delaware's flat, so that's a problem." And from there, I was a BDC representative for Hertrick Nissan for a few years. And then there came an opportunity for me to become a manager in 2019. And
Okay.
I became a BDC manager for Hertrick Nissan from 2019 to about 2000. And I'd say about 22, you can take it. or 20, yeah, it was 2022. And then what basically led me to go to Capitol was there was a person in my department that left. And all of a sudden, they want that person to come back, and I didn't feel it was a good fit at that point. And I had, had to have a meeting and a conversation with my general manager at that time. And then, the option of going to Capitol arose. On top of the fact that I tore my ACL
I,
within not even a month before I got transferred.
I
So
remember
it
that.
basically
'Cause you
put
came.
me in a position where, I couldn't do as much as I would like to do, and they just felt it was best for me to go to Capitol.
I do remember that because you came in on crutches.
Yes, I
You were
came
like,
in on crutches,
yeah,
and it was a complete tear. And I went from crutches to walking stick because I had the old man walking stick for a
yeah,
while.
yep.
And through slow rehabbing and a lot of physical therapy at home, I've gotten to the point where I can walk without no assistance.
How did you tear your ACL?
It was multi-part. Part of it was yard work. Part of it was just pushing it too hard with working out. Part of it was just not listening to my body. I'll say that. And when it ripped, initially I thought, oh, it was just a sprained ACL. But the swelling got so bad and the pain got so intense that I knew it wasn't a sprain; it was a complete tear. So when I went to the doctors and saw a knee specialist and whatnot, they said, and then they did some imaging on the knee. It was toast.
Oh, what were you doing? Like leg curls or like the
Uh,
extenders, maybe?
what I was doing that kind of led up to it was I was doing a lot of running.
Okay,
I was doing yard work, and I was just doing too much. I
doing
just
too
felt like I
much.
wasn't resting my knee, and when you're not listening to your body, that kind of happens.
I know you're a gym bro. You still in the gym, or you still working out at home?
I work out about 5, 6 days a week, so I'm still
Okay,
biking 3 times a week. I weight lift about 2 to 3 times a week, and I do ab workouts about 3 times a week as well.
okay. I've been kind of slacking. The last time I went to the gym was on Saturday. No, was it? No, it was Friday. Yeah, I'm really slacking. Um,
Uh,
yeah,
Yeah, I know. I do all this from home. I do all this from home. I have dumbbells. I have a whole set of dumbbells. I have resistant bands. I have my little bike pedaler for biking and whatnot for my leg, and yeah, I have 20-pound dumbbells. I have 5-pound dumbbells. I have 8-pound dumbbells. I have a whole set of resistant bands. So I would say the easiest way to maintain fitness is just having a simple goal and having a schedule,
yeah.
keeping things scheduled. So I bike ride Monday, Wednesday, Saturday. I weightlift Thursdays and Sundays, and if I can get another workout in weightlifting, I'll sneak that one in, but minimally two. And then the ab workouts are Monday, Wednesday, Saturday.
Okay. I think I might have to shut my window. I don't know if you can hear it, but there's like planes flying through, and usually they're not that bad. Um,
No,
but
I don't hear nothing.
you don't hear the planes.
I don't.
Okay, maybe they're not showing up on the stream. If y'all can hear the planes on the stream, just let me know in the chat so I can know what to do. Either shut my window or something. Um, so that's still cool. I would like to have like a routine, but my routine's so messed up, especially like with doing this and then like working and all that stuff. Like I feel like I don't have time to really do anything. Like I feel like I'm like stretched and pulled in too many different directions. So like I know I gotta figure out something, but it's like I feel like I just don't even have time. You know what I mean?
True, I can get that, but like even if you made 30 minutes a
Yeah,
day, that's a difference. It doesn't sound like a whole lot of time, but
yeah,
if you did a 30-minute workout 7 days a week and you mix it up between cardio and weightlifting, there's time there, and you can see a difference in that.
yeah, yeah. You're right. I might have to come up with something. Maybe I can get you to come up with a workout plan for me. Oh, just noticing you got bananas on your shirt, man.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. It comes with a message that there is a situation that is bananas.
Yeah, every
Yes.
with
Uh, According to multiple sources, there are mosquitoes that are now found in Iceland.
oh, that is bananas.
That is seriously bananas. They have an ice shelf there. It is tremendously cold. And for some reason, during the summertime, roughly in May, they hit a hot stretch where it was almost 80 degrees in Iceland.
Yeah, that's not even supposed to happen. It's called Iceland for a
No, it's
reason.
not. And one of the two types of mosquitoes that they found in Iceland actually can survive brutal cold temperatures, so they're only going to multiply.
Okay, so can't go to Iceland to get away from mosquitoes.
No,
That's
can't escape.
can't escape them. Can't escape them. They're like the number one killer of humans, right? Mosquitoes are. They be taking
Uh,
people out, don't they?
I mean,
Is that
yeah,
a true thing?
there's quite a few different diseases, so I would say they're pretty potent
They're pretty potent.
between them and ticks.
And yeah, yeah. I know you were telling me a story about how what because you I remember you telling me you got something from mosquito.
West Nile virus.
You got the West Nile, which
West Nile
is
virus in the early 2000s, it was when the East Coast first got hit with it. And it was pretty substantial because it came during a hot period. It came during a year where it was a couple years where it was really warm, really wet, really humid. And that is when mosquitoes and ticks thrive.
yeah,
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 so that's when I got it. I was bike riding a lot. I was very active in my teens, and then initially I thought I had the flu. I thought I had the flu. I thought I had, seasonal allergies. I thought there was a couple things at play, and it didn't go away. The symptoms actually got worse.
I know you're probably one of the only people that I know that has had West Nile virus, and like a lot of people don't really survive that, do they? Like,
Well, for the most part, they do. I would say over 90 to 95% of people who get West Nile virus do not get the severity of the symptoms that are fatal.
okay,
The problem is that there's about 5% of them that do get the infection part of that and high fever, and that can tend to lead to, obviously death, cardiovascular issues, nervous system issues, and whatnot. But I would say it's not common, but it's going to be common because the warmer temperatures get, the
yeah,
shorter our winter season begins
yep,
to become, you can say, uh, and the more I would say moisture and more heat are mixed together, there's a higher chance in the future that more and more cases are going to be happening.
yeah, and probably in Iceland now too.
Uh, possible.
Possible.
Same thing with ticks, because the ticks are the same thing with Lyme disease. Same deal. Heat, humidity, and swamp-like weather are just like consistent muggy weather and mixed with 80 degrees that'll do it.
Now, you are there ticks in Iceland as well?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet, but you can hear that Jaws music. Dun 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 dun.
So, one of the things I know about you is that you're a weather aficionado. Like I, when when we worked together, I didn't even need to like look at my phone or anything. You could tell me the weather like off the bat, which I thought was like the most insane thing I've ever seen a like person do. Um, how are you still like keeping up with like the weather? How because I know that there's some things going on and we don't really have to get into to that, but it's hard to predict the weather now. It's harder to predict the weather. We're getting a lot of shit wrong.
I would say that if you go based upon statistics of 1880 to 2000, then you're going to be wrong a lot. But because the weather was tremendously cooler then, ha- patterns developed different in comparison to 2000 to 2025. So it makes it difficult, especially in this region, to forecast not only winter weather, but summer weather as well. But I will say this, that right now, I would say we're, according to Farmer's Almanac and according to multiple sources, we're going to have a significant winter. And
Yeah.
one stat that really proves it is that in years that the United States does not have a landing of a hurricane, on average, this area will get between 35 to 45 inches of snow.
Oh shit.
Yeah. So you can Google that and fact check that in the last 5 times that the United States did not have a hurricane land, this neck of the woods had blizzard conditions.
I don't want to hear that. I don't like that. I hate snow.
I'm just saying, and I'm not saying it's 100% certain, but I would say if I'm a betting man, if I'm a gambling man, I would say I'll put that number at 75%.
So, what makes the Farmer's Almanac so accurate? Is it just because of like history? Like we've just been.
Part of it's history. Part of it is because they use sunspots to identify currents and not necessarily currents, but like how the weather seasons go. They also go based upon how much rain happened in springtime, how much heat waves did we have during the summer. So it's not just data from the past, but it's also data going into it based upon this year as well that is factoring in.
That's interesting. I always wonder because like when I think of the Farmer's Almanac, I'm thinking like this big ass book. You know what I mean? And they're just like flipping
Yeah.
through like we're going to year 2027. Let's see what it's gonna be like you know. But I guess it's
Yeah.
more like just data that's been stockpiled or compiled and then like the.
I would say yes, but it's getting harder to predict in this area because when you look at the average temperature in this region now in comparison to like 2000, it's tremendously different. Like September has probably warmed up between 5 to 8 degrees since the year 2000. August weather is warmer, July is warmer. You know, this month has been weird because statistically in the last 5 years, we were running above average in October. We're right now running below average.
Like temperature wise.
Temperature wise, yeah.
It don't feel like it. It feels like it feels hot as shit outside, man. Like I'm not
I
gonna lie.
mean, right now it may feel like that, but we've had a lot of days where it's been below average, and
Okay.
we've had a lot of low temperatures where it's 40 degrees out. So I
So
wouldn't I wouldn't say we're massively below average, but we're
we're
not.
just a little bit.
I I would say we're not 5 to 10 degrees above.
I gotcha. I gotcha. So do you think global warming is a thing? Like 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 a actual we're getting hotter. You think?
Yeah, absolutely. I do believe global warming is a thing, but I think a lot of people misunderstand what global warming is causing and what's going to happen now, and also what's going to happen 100 plus years in the future. So, usually, what happens is before a massive ice age begins, there's a tremendous warming period. And what triggers the ice age or what triggers a tremendous cooling period is to keep in mind that the North and South Pole is fresh water. All the oceans are salt water. So if you mess with I would say the percentages of salt water to fresh water, and somehow that gets mixed up, and the temperatures drop enough and the currents, it can freeze oceans. It can freeze, a whole entire water systems going from north to south, and once that occurs, that's when cold temperatures happen,
Huh.
when the streams start freezing over.
I gotcha. And I did not know that the poles were fresh water. But
Yeah, it's all fresh water.
I guess it makes sense because I know like salt water or maybe it's just the ocean. Is it because of the salt in it? That's why it retains its temperature longer. So like that's why when you go into the summer, that water's like freezing. But like if you go into like the winter, that the water is like warmer than it is
I
outside.
would say the water temperature doesn't change as much as ground temperature because of the total depth of it. There's so much water.
Okay.
There's such a tremendous body of water on Earth that it doesn't heat up and cool quickly. I will say that most of the oceans, Atlantic Ocean, Gulf of Mexico or America, whichever way you call it, Pacific Ocean, they've been running hot. They've been running above average, and that usually takes a while to cool down. Like
Yeah.
for example, when I went to Mexico, when it was about 85 degrees on average in the area that I went to, and the water was still pretty warm, even in October.
So let's talk about Mexico. What part of Mexico did you go to?
I went to be specific, it's if you know where Louisiana, if you look on the map, if you go straight down, that's where I went. I went to the Peninsula region
Okay.
near Merida and also a small town in Sasal. So it's it's far away from Mexico City.
Okay.
It's far away from crime, but there's a lot of nature, a lot of forest, a lot of trees, and it's really peaceful out there.
And that's right where like the Gulf is, right? Or
Yeah,
like right around the Gulf area.
it is the body of water that it does touch is the Gulf of Mexico or Gulf of America, what have you.
The
So if you look on the maps and if you pull up a Google map, you can all you have to do is basically go where near Louisiana is at. I'm doing it right now, and if you go down about 400 or 500 miles, you will see that it's in the Yucatan Peninsula to be specific.
Okay. I would do that, but uh, I don't feel like trying to like maneuver my internet situation
No,
right
that's all
now.
good. It's all good. I just wanted to look it up myself just to provide whoever's watching a little bit more data. But a lot of it, New Mexico gets a bad rap, and it's justifiably so. They kind of deserve it. A lot of Mexico does have a lot of violence, drugs, and stuff like that, but not all of it. Like there's good spots and bad spots in Mexico, like there are in the United States.
Yeah.
But the region that I'm at, doesn't have as much because it's kind of like isolated. It's further away. You know, I flew from BWI to Merida. Merida's a pretty big city. It's probably about equal size, roughly, of Atlanta. So there's a lot to offer there. They got grocery stores, they got restaurants, they got bars. If you want to party for a weekend,
Oh yeah.
there's a lot to do there.
What's that flight like? How long was the flight?
Oh boy, let's see here. I had to fly from BWI to Miami, and then from Miami to Merida.
So you had like a
So
little layover.
on the way up, it was only like 1 or 2 hour layover in Miami, but on the way back, it was 5.
Damn. I mean, uh, I would
I mean,
say
it's not too bad because Miami's airport is so massive. It's kind of like a mall in there. And so
yeah,
they got everything you're looking for. If you're looking for a shoe store, they got a shoe store.
for
If you're
real it
looking for
is.
some hats, they got some hats. If you're
No,
looking for some good restaurants, they got it.
Miami's their airport is huge. I remember I was going to Vegas. I think it was in 2022 or 2023. We took a trip to Vegas, but we had to fly to Miami and we had a layover. But the layover was only supposed to be about 45 minutes from the
Okay.
layover to Miami to Vegas from Philly. But our flight was like 30 minutes late from Philly, like taking off 30 minutes late. So we got to Miami and we had 15 minutes, like, and I think it was less than that. I think we had like maybe 10 minutes to get from our flight to the Miami flight, and we could not make it. Like, there's no way, like, right, like, we were sprinting through
Yeah.
this airport, and we got to the gate maybe about like 5 minutes late, and we had to sleep in the Miami airport for another flight to go out to Vegas. Um, uh, Probably top 15 worst experiences of my life. I don't want to put in the top 10 because they did give us little blankets to sleep in the airport on the airport floor. So that wasn't completely terrible. But yeah, uh, at least you didn't have to sleep on the Miami airport.
No, well, I mean, with my layover, I don't mind long layovers because it gets me situated, and I'm set, get my bags and everything, and it gives me time to look around. They've got some great restaurants, and for people who are traveling to Miami Airport, shout out to the Cuban restaurant Cuva, Kuva, authentic Cuban food.
Oh,
And when I sat down at that restaurant, and I thought, well, what's the most Cuban thing I can get? The Cuban sandwich.
the Cuban
And let me tell you,
sandwich.
oh snap!
What is that
And it
like? Just
is
like
a
ham?
tremendous sandwich.
Yeah. What's on a Cuban? It's like what, like ham? It's like on
You
a
got ham,
yeah.
you got some mozzarella cheese on there,
Mm.
you got some pickles at the bottom, and then there's like some like beef or roast beef in between there, and it's like on some type of like I wouldn't say toasted bun, but it felt toasted, and it was fantastic.
That actually sounds pretty good. I'm not even gonna hold you. Next time I get stuck in BWI or not BWI and MIA, I might have to try out the Cuban restaurant. What was it called again?
Kuva,
Cool.
Kuva. They have a
Cool.
Google star rating over 4. They're phenomenal. They
Ooh,
really are.
over 4 stars. That, yeah, that might be a thing. That might be a
Yeah, it's
thing.
not bad. I had no problem with it. It was enjoyable. My fiance had some a seafood dish there, and it was pretty fantastic. So yeah, shout out to that restaurant. I wrote him a Google review. I do write a lot of Google reviews, and because as many people who read these reviews, they rely on them for experiences, so going to restaurants, doing things around town. And I feel like if I'm going to restaurants and if I'm going to go to all these places, why not share my experience with everyone else?
Not for real, because like majority of the reviews like on Google or Yelp or those places are all negative, and it's
Yeah,
because like no one really remembers their positive experiences, or if they do have a positive experience, they're just like, okay, that went how I it was supposed to go, and then they just
yeah.
move on with their lives. But if you got like a bad experience, you want to tell someone like, don't go there, that place sucks,
Well, yeah,
you know.
negative news always spreads quicker than positive, but I just write it how I see it. And most of the time, I'm writing a good experience because, a lot of people are looking for a good Italian restaurant, for example, or a good Cuban restaurant, or maybe they want to go to this beach or something. And if I can give them a good word, give them some information, say, hey, this was a pretty good spot. And oh, by the way, I took some photos to prove it, that's going to help them find the right place to have a good time.
Did you get a chance to go to the beach in Mexico?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I went two times, and the water's fantastic. Obviously it's I would say it's not in comparison to the Chesapeake Bay and in comparison to the Atlantic Ocean. It is significantly lighter, which means you can see your feet. Like it's
Okay.
clear. It's way out there. Given the fact that this is not I would say a public beach. This is a private beach that I was on a couple times. I would say there was no trash. It was clean. It was perfect. Seashells galore, and it was just beautiful out there. Quite frankly, because no one is messing with nature out there.
That's awesome. Did you get a chance to do any partying out there?
I mean, I had some alcohol. I mean, I drank some Mexican tequila,
Okay.
because I like my tequila.
Okay.
Had some beer, and just had a good time between the beaches and the pools and stuff. I was just relaxing and taking it all in.
Mexican tequila versus like the stuff that we get here. Is there a difference, or do you think it's just like maybe the same stuff that gets imported?
I would say there is good and bad in every type of alcohol and
Yeah.
every product out there. So I'll put that out there. Authentic tequila is amazing, but most tequila does come from Mexico, imported though,
Yeah.
because of the guava plant. So therefore, given the weather that's in Mexico, and given that it's very difficult to grow that type of plant in most areas, that Mexico has a stronghold, you can say, on the tequila industry. So, in comparison to those tequilas in Mexico, the closest one that I would say that will give you that authentic taste that's imported often is 1800.
1800. See, I'm
Yeah,
a
if you're going with 1800 silver, not bad. It's a little pricey, but if you're balling on a budget and you're looking for a premium tequila, Margaritaville makes tequila.
I
I
know that.
found that out as well, and I think it was a Margaritaville. It may have been a silver, and that was only $15, and it was phenomenal. It wasn't better than 1800, but I would say it was equal.
Okay. I'm a big Espolon fan.
Okay,
But
that's pretty
Espolon,
good.
yeah, I think it's pretty good, but I usually like the darker Espolon, but
Okay.
that usually has me waking up like not remembering anything that happened the night before. The Espolon was drinking, or drank, or drunken,
That's
whatever,
that's that's pretty
whatever,
wild, to be
whatever
honest
you
with
want to
you.
call it, whatever you want to call it. I usually don't black out like that, but I will off of Espolon for sure, for
Okay.
sure.
Well, the type of alcohol I tried in Mexico was Don Ramon. That
Don
was
Ramon.
the Yes, that was the brand I was drinking while I was down there, and it was a very good brand. And I would say, it was 80 proof, and it was very good. But I've had, was it Don Julio's really good. I've had Jose Cuervo. I've had
Yeah.
Hornitos. I've had a lot of different ones, but I have my preferences. But I won't. In regards to that, I'm just drinking for experience. I'm just the entertainment, the
Yeah.
flavor, and all that kind of stuff. I'm not overdoing it.
Yeah, no, I understand. I understand. See, I like to party, and sometimes I do overdo it, especially like if I am drinking, and I'm already like kind of saucy, and then like more drinks come around. I have like a hard time of like once it starts happening, it's like yeah, but I'm already here. I don't know.
I mean, I get it, but like for me, I do drink quite a bit when I do drink, but I also drink water. Don't forget to hydrate. Hydration
Yeah,
is important, not just for drinking alcohol, but for anything.
yeah.
And I always tend to eat a decent meal beforehand as well. And it's highly recommended whether you're drinking, whether you're working out, regardless of what you're doing. It's always good to do that with sufficient calories intake and just put yourself in the best position possible before tackling anything.
That's good advice. That's good advice. I know. I remember at one point you were actually like distilling alcohol. Is that still a thing?
I'm still making my own gin.
Yeah.
Oh snap! I'm gonna have to spill the air on this one. I discovered a very good type of gin, a botanical for this gin, and it's Japanese. It's called oolong tea.
Oolong tea.
Wow, yeah, it's two O's on that one, and
Okay.
it's phenomenal. And what I did was, and how to make gin for those who are watching, juniper berries is the ingredient that basically turns any neutral alcohol, like vodka, for example, into gin. So what I would do is put juniper berries in the bottle for vodka and let it sit, marinate for a couple of days, then add the botanical for a couple of days, which in this case was oolong tea, and then after about having them both sit for a total of anywhere between 3 and 6 days, distill the stuff out and then let it sit for 24 hours. It's phenomenal.
So, are you gonna start bottling this stuff up and like selling it, or what's the plan
Nah,
here?
it's just a hobby,
Just a
honestly.
hobby.
It's a hobby. It's the enjoyment of it, and I like making my own stuff, and I like finding my own botanicals, and you can often find them online. Like for example, whether it's Amazon.com or many other sites that carry these botanicals. But that's what I do. That's
See,
one of the things I do.
see that's pretty awesome. I don't have the patience for it, but I will definitely drink some of someone else's homemade, homegrown if they would let me. I was trying to get you to bring some in for the longest time, but you wouldn't do it because of work. But
Of course.
it's all cool, man. It's all cool.
Well, I can do it outside of
We
work,
could
but the rules are
the
the rules.
rules. Have rule schmools. Um, Maybe at some point though, because I never got a chance to try it. Since we do not work at the same establishment anymore, I think it's okay now, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would say it's fair, but yeah, I'm probably going to make some more of that down the road. I have other botanicals I'd like to try
Okay.
and other different beverages because I mean it's fall season. So what I do when during the fall time is I use apple cider, peach ciders, and I mix them with different types of whiskeys and brandies and whatnot. So that's the gear I usually roll with, especially October, November, going into the new year.
Honestly, I mean, I don't know. I feel like there's somewhere along the line there's like a Mike Granger like line of spirits, that should be out on shelves. I'm I'm
I'll write my reviews for this stuff, but I ain't doing that.
I could see it, man. I'm looking at it right now, like it's just you in the banana shirt with the orange hat. That's like that's all that's the whole thing right there. It's like right on the bottle.
I'm not doing that. No way, Jose.
No way.
No way, Jose.
I'm
Now, I
just
wore the banana shirt just to throw you off guard because underneath the banana shirt is I have a Royal Farms shirt on. What? The Royal Farms has a fashion line? You
did
better believe it.
I didn't
When
know
you go
that
to
either.
any Royal Farms gas station, they do sell their shirts. And on my way to BWI a couple weeks ago, we found the Royal Farms shirts for $1, and I'm like, all right, I'm down.
For $1.
For $1? Yeah. They're usually like five, but we found them for $1, and we're like, all right, I'm down. I can risk this investment.
See, you really can't beat that. I just want to know like who like made Royal Farms, like, who gave them royalty. It was just like some guy was like, "This is the king's farm."
Hmm. I don't know. Maybe the creator of Royal Farms put Royal in front of it just because that means elite. It means upper echelon. So therefore, I think whoever came up with it, whether it was the owner or maybe a marketing team, they did it to draw in customers.
I guess so, but once you
Yeah,
go inside of a Royal Farms, I'm not gonna shit on Royal Farms because there are some nice ones. I've seen some pretty big Royal Farms.
yeah.
Uh, the one I can think about is the one that's like right down the street from my house, and that one, the you go there right now. I don't even know. I stopped going to that Royal Farms because you can get solicited out there, pretty quickly,
Oh,
pretty quick.
well, I mean, you live quite a bit north of me, so I'm from down under, down the south part of the county of Kent County. So I don't know what you're talking.
I guess I mean um and I guess the area really isn't the best, but I should be able to go inside of a Royal Farms and not be asked to buy cocaine or crack cocaine. You know what I mean?
That's true. I do understand that, but like, yeah, I don't want that happen. It could have
Uh
another.
oh.
Uh,
Hold on a second, Mike. You're breaking up a little bit, just a little
oh
bit.
man,
Yeah. Give it a second to 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 do a thing. Think you might be back. Say something.
blueberry muffins.
Yeah, there we go. There we go.
There
Blueberry
we go. That's
muffins.
that's what we're talking about. Blueberry muffins, quality muffins, and you know what? Shout out to Wise grocery stores because on one of my random trips, I went to Wise in Lewis, and they have some very good muffins.
Hmm. I think. Do we got a we actually don't have a Wise out here, and I used to call
No,
them Weiss.
yeah.
Um, but I think the only two that I know of are this like at the beach or like up north, like in Newcastle County.
Yeah. There's one up there, and then I think there's one near Lewis, near Rehoboth, and I went to that one. And I was actually not there for muffins. I was in search of watermelon right before Fourth of July, and
Yeah,
discovered they had muffins. I was like, I'm down.
yeah. I think the best watermelons come from those little side, those people that be selling them on the side of the roads and the trucks.
Maybe I don't do that too often, but Wise isn't bad. I'm pretty finicky with my watermelons. What I like to do is knock on them and hear and put my ear to them.
You gotta
Make
slap them.
oh, no slapping here. No, it's a no slap zone. I don't want to get arrested for violently attacking produce.
Is that
So
You think that's like an assault on the
could
assault
be.
on the watermelon?
It could be. It definitely could be. Something violent of the sort, especially in today's era. So
See,
no, I don't want to do that.
See, I never know what I'm looking for because, like, when you pick up a watermelon and you do knock it or you shake it or whatever, like, I just pretend to know and be like, yeah, this is good, but I have no clue, no clue. I just like all watermelons kind of sound the same to me. You got any like watermelon whispering advice? Pick out the
Absolutely.
best
When I
ones.
knock on the watermelon, if it has a very, I would say, deep sound to it, like it's solid, and it doesn't sound like it's hollow, then that's a good sign because that means it's ripe. That means there's a lot of, it's not decaying on the inside. And so if you have more of a hollow sound, or I would say a lighter sound to it, and especially the color, because the more it fades, I feel like the more it's not going to have that flavor. I'm looking for a dark green. I'm looking for something that definitely is, I would say, not lacking in the green color and not looking warped. So when I pick those out, they're pretty phenomenal.
Okay, that's gonna be good advice for next summer when the watermelon season coming around. I think the last watermelon I got was out of like a random truck. I think I was right by Carol's Corner actually,
Oh,
um,
okay.
and I was doing laundry because my dryer's having some issues like not working. So we were just out there doing laundry, and just random guy comes out with the watermelons, and I'm like, yeah, let me get one of them. Let me get one of them truck watermelons. It was actually pretty good too.
Oh, well, how about that?
Yeah, I don't know. Then, um, I don't even know where they be getting them. If they just buy it from the store, then like, put a whole bunch in a truck and then just go out to the middle of the street somewhere and like, here's the watermelons, or if they're like actually growing them. I have no clue. Never even asked. Never consider asking.
Uh, I don't. I think it's risky business unless you're going to like a legit grocery store or a legit like I would say like a market kind of place, like Pfeiffer's Orchard, perhaps.
Yeah,
Pfeiffer's is pretty solid for apples, and I honestly like their pumpkin pie, apple pie. If you're going for apple cider, that's a good spot.
I haven't got a chance to go to Pfeiffer's yet. I was
Me
planning on.
either, but I intend on going this weekend. So shout out to Pfeiffer's Orchard. They're pretty solid. That's always a great experience there.
You're gonna do some pumpkin hunt, pumpkin picking. You
Oh
want to
yeah,
call it?
absolutely. I
Yeah.
intend on selecting a few pumpkins from their pumpkin crop, if you wish to say.
Mm,
So I'm going to go and do that. I'm going to see if they got some pie, see what the pie situation's looking like, and then of course apple cider because I mix apple cider with quite a bit of different stuff.
oh
So
yeah.
my
What's
go-to is Yukon Jack Cinnamon, but also Evan Williams Fire will do the job.
Evan Williams? I use the Evan Williams a lot for cooking.
Man, that's pretty solid stuff. I like that.
Yeah. What I like to do is I like to cook hot dogs in Evan Williams.
Huh.
Yeah. Goes crazy.
I don't know about that.
Goes
I don't.
crazy. It goes
I'm not.
crazy,
I'm
Mike.
not doing it.
If you get a chance, you just got a little splash in there. You're
I
like,
mean, I might add some to my baked beans, maybe, but I don't know about the hot dogs. That sounds like a risky proposition.
yeah, it's worth it. It's like risk reward is very high for that. You get
I
that
don't
nice
know,
little
but
sizzle.
my concern is I don't know. I don't know if I'm taking advice from a good cook, an average cook, or a guy that burns everything. So
Hey
I don't
man,
know.
hey man, I don't cook like that, but I eat. You know what I mean? I consider myself a food connoisseur. You know, and I think the hot dogs with the Evan Williams, it's something different. So it's a game changer. If you get a chance to even just try one. Just put a hot dog in the skillet, just coat it with some Evan Williams. It'll change your life.
I don't know. I don't. I usually use my grill or my griddles for a hot dog, so I
Mhm.
don't know about this.
Mhm. I mean, I'm the same way too, but sometimes I'll be craving a little Evan Williams hot dog. It'd be like that.
I like Evan Williams minus the hot dog. I'm gonna go with a diet on that. A diet on the hot dog. I ain't doing that.
Mm, I don't know. I don't know. It's just
That
something to
that's
think
gonna be a
about.
hard pass.
Think about that, chat. Chat, think about that. Actually, try it. Try it. Don't burn your house down, but try it, and let me know how you feel about it in the next episode.
Now, I can see hot dogs with baked beans. I can see hot dogs with maybe pulled pork. I can see hot dogs if you're going barbecue mode and you're going to do some ribs and maybe mix that with the barbecue sauce as like some sort of like a marinade, perhaps. That's a possibility. But I don't know about a hot dog. And like I'm a pretty solid cook, and I've been doing. Not only do I cook good food, but I've been to many, probably at least 400 different restaurants. So I'm not going to be risking my Evan Williams with a hot dog. I can't do it. I'm just saying, I can't do it.
You can't do it. You
You
can't
know what
risk
else I
the
can't
Evan
do?
Williams.
You know what else I can't do, Chaz? I can't bet on the Ravens against the Bears this weekend. Just saying. As someone who is from South Baltimore and someone who is an avid Ravens fan and seeing this dumpster fire implode on live television for the first 6 weeks of the year or the summer or not summer but the season, nah, don't bet on the Ravens.
How you feeling about the football season like overall? It's a whole thing right now. Like,
Overall, I'm impressed. There's a lot of good teams out there. The Patriots are playing better than I anticipated being, a 4-2 team. Honestly, Tampa Bay is doing pretty good, but they lost a very good wide receiver, so that's going to be concerning. There's some teams that I'm impressed with. Some teams that are underperforming. For example, the Miami Dolphins. That's a mess. They're not doing too hot.
Uh,
And like I said, the Ravens are not doing too hot. Predictably, the Browns are doing terrible. Uh, but there's other teams that are like I would say doing above expectations, like the Indianapolis
the
Colts.
Colts. Yeah.
I mean, they got Danny Dimes out there, or
Yeah.
in other words, Indiana Jones
Yeah.
leading them,
Yeah.
and they're doing
Yeah.
pretty solid right now.
Honestly, and it's kind of wild because um, who's the quarterback for the Giants? Uh,
It's Jackson Dart
Jackson
right now.
Dart.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because they have benched Russell Wilson.
Yeah, and he's actually doing pretty good too. He's like and he
Yeah, but the concern with him is that offensive line is hot garbage, which
yeah,
means that Jackson's not having a whole lot of time to throw, and he's taking a lot of hits. And that's the same challenge that Russell Wilson had because he didn't have time to throw down the field. And
right.
as someone who is a deep thrower, you can't throw a 50-yard or 40-yard throw on a three-step drop most of the time.
Nah, you gotta wait for your receivers to get open.
Exactly.
And then it's also harder for Russell Wilson because he's getting older. You know,
Well,
you
yeah,
can't
but
you
I,
can't
I
just
would say he's
take
moving a
hits like
little
that.
slower, and it
Yeah,
takes him longer to throw it. Sure.
yeah, you can't just take hits like that anymore. Like you're not like when you're younger, you can get hit all the time and you really don't feel it. Like I know he's feeling every single one of them things.
Oh yeah.
I know he's feeling every one of them. But also, let's talk about your old quarterback, Joe Flacco. That
He's
guy.
alive and well. He is the ultimate journeyman, like a jack in a box. He has reappeared. All
Yeah,
right. And
I
and
like.
honestly, Cleveland did him dirty. They sign him, they say, "Oh, you're the starter." And then the offensive line's not doing too hot. The run game's meh. Wide receivers aren't doing too good, and they put it on Flacco. And then they bench him, and then the same old kind of happens, right? And then all of a sudden he gets traded to the Bengals, and you see what happened last Thursday.
Yeah, yeah, throwing laser beams
Well,
straight
that's what
up.
happens when you have one, weapons, two, time to throw, and three, you got a team that's hungry. Cincinnati feels they're not out of it right
Yeah,
now, and at 3-4, and seeing the Steelers defense not what everyone thought that defense was, and especially when you're looking at schedules here, the Steelers have a bit of a gauntlet going on in the next 5-6 weeks. They're playing some good playoff teams, so we'll see how that unfolds. Cincinnati has a little bit of an easier schedule. The Ravens have a little bit of an easier schedule. But I think Cincinnati out of Ravens, Cleveland, and them, I would say they have the best shot of making the playoffs out of those three.
I can see it. I can see it.
Because Cleveland's not going to change. They're not turning that sunken ship around.
Not
And the
anytime
Ravens at
soon.
1-5, they're looking on the outside, looking in here, and that's not even from an offensive perspective. We're saying the offensive line struggling, right?
And
The
defense too.
defense has given up way too many points. Then
Yeah.
you have an issue with turnovers, and I'm not talking apple or cherry. Anytime you give up 3 turnovers a game or more, your probability of winning basically goes to like a 1-4 or 1-5 probability.
Yeah, it's very hard to win a game if you're not taking care of the ball, and that's
Yeah.
like regardless of any sport really. I mean, not in. Yeah,
Yeah, and the Bears are not to be taken lightly at 4-2. They have an offense that's scoring right around 25, 30 points a game. Their defense is pretty solid. They got a good run game, and they got Caleb Williams. He's doing pretty solid, and I think he is a good quarterback, especially when he has time to throw. And with the Ravens, I just think it's just too much. Even with an extra week off, I don't see how that saves them.
yeah. Maybe maybe try again next year. I mean, at this
Well,
point,
the
we'll see.
concern is because this is a bit of deja vu for those who are watching. The last time the Ravens started this bad, honestly, was probably right around 2007, 2008 when he had Brian Billick, their head coach at the time. The season before they went 13-3, they went 5-11 the year afterwards, and one of those losses was against a Miami Dolphins team that was winless at the point. All right, so right now, and that was right around 2007, 2008. I think it was 2008 that season that had that happen.
I'm trying to
And
remember what I was doing in 2008, 2007. I was in 10th grade. sophomore.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you were a young buck, and
yeah.
that this is when it exposes my age a bit because at that point in 2007 I was 21, so I was
Well,
already
you're
in my
not
early
that old.
20s at this point.
You're not that
I'm not
old.
young, but
Yeah,
that's what. But what happened in that season was they went 5-11, and after that season, Billick got fired. Brian Billick, who won a Super Bowl with the Ravens, got fired. And
yeah.
I'm not saying that Harbaugh's getting fired, but if he doesn't turn this ship around and we end up and the Ravens end up, going 5-12, the Ravens may not have another option here.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, I feel like even if the Baltimore Ravens fired Harbaugh, he's gonna get picked up immediately. He's probably one of the best coaches in the
Oh,
NFL.
absolutely.
Definitely
I'm
one of
not
the best
saying that
coaches.
I'm not saying the Ravens should fire him, but if he loses the locker room and for some reason they come out flat against the Bears when the season is, I would say, more than on the line, then
Yeah,
something has to change,
yeah,
because having the same thing happen over and over is considered insanity. And given the fact that the Ravens have been a playoff team, have made it to the championship, but haven't closed the deal, that's concerning. Like, what is the height of this team, of the Ravens? Like, are they a Super Bowl team, or is it time to rebuild?
and Lamar, he's been MVP twice already, hasn't he?
Correct. Yes,
Yeah,
but Lamar can't save this team. Lamar, it would be unfair to put such expectation on one player to carry the rest.
yeah,
And I know he's a great quarterback, and I know he runs well and throws well. But if all your not all, but most of the wide receivers are not getting open and they're dropping the ball, and then you got fumbles coming, from wide receivers, running backs, what have you. It doesn't matter how good Lamar is if the rest of the team does not give that same level of expertise, they're doomed.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I see it.
So I mean, I can talk about that until the sun comes up, but I'm good. I'm good. So hard pass on that. We're gonna bounce that out,
We're good.
and I'm gonna pivot. We're going baseball. Right? Have you been watching any baseball?
Then no, been watching no baseball.
No
Have
baseball.
none
Well,
at all. But you can talk about it.
I'll inform you what's going down,
All right.
and somebody who's watching is going to say timber. It's going to be Toronto Blue Jays versus the Dodgers, and the Dodgers are, I would say, in the middle of a little bit of a reign going on here because they won in 2020 the World Series. They won a World Series last year and bopped off the Yankees. And this is a super team that Toronto's going against. This is not a standard team where you have a lineup consisting of at least 6, 7 pitchers that could be a starter. When you look up the batting, you have nothing but all-stars, former MVPs, and just nothing but tremendous talent.
Talking about on
And
the
I
Dodgers.
mean, Toronto could win this series, but if you're betting on this, I would not go Toronto. I would say there's a very high percentage of the Dodgers doing it, and also to throw a little nugget at people here, Clayton Kershaw is going to retire at the end of the season. Clayton is the best Dodgers pitcher since Sandy Koufax. We're going back in the 50s, 60s era. Kershaw's in his final year of his career. They're probably going to want to send him out with a ring.
This time of year is always like kind of overwhelming, especially with sports, because we got football, basketball, and baseball all happening all at the same time right now,
Good
and
time.
it is a good time, but it's also like, remember I told you in the beginning, like I feel like I'm doing way too much shit, like I can't really keep up with everything, and like at some point I don't even try. I didn't even realize we're like in the World Series right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like completely went over my head. If I wasn't talking to you, I wouldn't even have known.
Well, there's two ways to go about things. You can either watch all the things that are happening, or you can read about it. I
Mm-hmm.
do a little bit of both, and I would say to be informed, it's good to read. And I would say in times of gaming, in times of podcasts, in times of all this digital media and all these fantastic things that are offered in this society, don't forget to read. It's
Yeah.
always good to read.
Yeah.
It's always informative to read, whether it's weather, whether it's history, whether it's Even if it's about food or restaurants, it's good to read and learn. And once the body stops evolving from a mental or physical level, that's when decline happens. And
Mm,
for those who are watching this, I would say always try to improve. Always try to work on something. Because if you're staying the same, if you're the same person you were last year, then you're actually worse. You're in decline because
mm,
you're not gaining additional skill. And there are a lot of medical studies on Parkinson's and Alzheimer's disease, for example, that what leads to the increased probability of these things occurring is the lack of learning new things, making new friends, having new experiences, and continuing to evolve not only from a physical aspect, from also
but
from a
mental.
mental aspect.
Mm-hmm. This is great advice.
Yeah, so and I do this every day. No one's perfect. I'm not perfect, but I'm always thinking, what can I learn more about? What can I improve on? What is something that I can be interested? What's another hobby? I got loads of hobbies. The hobbies are endless. As a published author, as a marathon runner, former power lifter, I've pitched, I've played soccer, I've played tennis. I've tried. When I think about it this way, when you're on your deathbed, do you want to have regret? And if you live life without regret, if you live life, grabbing the bull by the horn, so to speak, then you're not going to say, "Oh, I wish I did. Oh, I wish I took a plane to Mexico. Oh, I wish I would have wrote that story or did this or painted or something." It's best to go out like a comet and just go all out.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
So that's some word of advice for me. But yeah, I've written published 3 books.
I
I've
forgot
written
you were
about
author, or was an author.
yeah,
I
yeah,
completely forgot about that.
yeah. I write poetry, and I still write today. And I write about a lot of different things, funny things, serious things. It's always good to push your mind and see what you can do. And whether it's writing or whether it's anything else, that's what I try to do.
Mike, is your books on Amazon?
They were at one point because when I was writing, it was like right around, I was in my mid 20s at the time. It was right around the recession era when all the stores were closing. So I don't think they might be on Amazon, but the stuff that's out on Amazon, it's not even my best work because I've kept evolving and kept improving. That the stuff I'm writing right now is probably the best stuff I've written in 20 years.
Oh shit! I want to do a shameless plug for you. I was gonna put like some links to your books on like,
Yeah.
if they're still on Amazon. I'm trying to find them. Just
They probably kicked me off by now because I ain't selling no books on there, but it's okay. But
are you
hey,
are you
you got a published author on your podcast, and it's not that bad.
are you like under a pseudonym? Is it Miguel?
No. I just put Miguel on this just for the hell of it because when I'm drinking, I go by Miguelio and all sorts of wacky names.
I remember when we were working at Hertrick, your caller ID would come up as Miguel. I'm like, who is Miguel calling me?
Oh yeah. Like for example, on Madden, I play John Madden a lot on the mobile. I am M Sizzle.
M Sizzle.
I'm bringing the sizzle.
M Sizzle on the Madden mobile.
On Madden Mobile, I am M Sizzle, and not to be arrogant, but I am cooking people. Yes.
Mm.
Yep, I'm cooking their defenses like a well done steak.
Uh-huh. I need to check out Madden. I didn't even know that was a thing.
Oh snap!
It's on
Yeah,
the App Store.
absolutely. And since you're a bit of a gamer, I'll talk gaming. I'm on Pokemon. I have 2 different profiles on Pokemon Mobile.
Which we talking about Go? Pokemon Go?
Yeah, Pokemon Go. Yeah, I'm going.
I'm gonna link you into some people because I stopped playing Pokemon Go, but I still have a lot of people that play I still got a lot of people, friends that play Pokemon. Even like last week, I was at my buddy's wedding, and they're trading Pokemon with each other. I'm like, oh man, you guys are still on Pokemon Go, like still strong. I would do it, but that shit kills my battery so fast, so
Really? You
fast.
don't operate in power save mode?
Mm-mm.
I'm on power save mode. Like when I wake up from sleeping, I'm on power save mode as a person. But on my phone, once my battery level gets 75%, power save mode it is.
See, I'll run that shit all the way till it dies, and then my phone is dead, and that's it. There's no more phone for me until I plug it up somewhere.
Well, I got an alternate idea for you because
Okay.
I have multiple phones. All right. I go on eBay and I find great deals. So I have a phone called, and it's by a phone brand made in Japan called Kyocera,
Okay.
and it's a waterproof phone. I have taken it to Mexico. I've had it in the Gulf with the salt water. I've had it in fresh water, and it takes great waterproof photos. I have a Pokemon profile on that phone.
Oh man, I might have to do that because I was already thinking
Yeah,
about getting another phone,
yeah.
just for like, just because, not even because like the Kevin Gates thing with having two phones, one for the two phones. Anyway,
Oh, I know what you're going with that, but see, I can't even comment because I actually have one, two, I have three phones.
oh man, all different phone lines too.
Well, they don't have one. The phone I'm using now is a primary, but the other two phones use Text Now, which is a
Okay,
Wi-Fi calling app. But I have everything backed up on these backup phones.
and you can still like access like your apps like Pokemon Go and stuff still
Yeah,
on
absolutely. Yeah,
them.
because I have a secondary profile account on Pokemon Go on my backup phone, and I have all my backup apps on there just in case this phone gets fried, which I don't think it will because it's a pretty good phone. I'm using the Google 9A.
Okay,
The Pixel 9A, and
yeah,
it's solid. Like it has like almost 2 days worth of battery. It takes great photos. I don't have no complaints. It is a phenomenal phone.
now the Pixel is actually a pretty good phone. That's actually my first smartphone that I got. But it was like
Okay.
the very first Pixel when it came out, and I loved that phone. But because it was like the first one, it had like I couldn't keep it for more than 6 months before it would just break on me. I don't. It just
Oh,
it you know just it would just break. But like I was also like downloading like music and all this other stuff on it, so like it was probably more me than the phone, you know
yeah.
but I really like that phone so much.
Well, you just reminded me. I actually have four phones. The first, the other phone I have is like 12 or 13 years old. It's a Galaxy Nexus by Google,
The
and this is
Nexus.
when Google was just tipping their toe in the smartphone business. So it was a Google and Samsung kind of adventure for them, and it's probably one of the first phones that Google was even considering.
You know what? I think that's the phone that I had. I'm pretty sure that's what it was.
Yeah,
Cause
because
I'm
it's like from 2011, 2012. So
Yeah, yeah. Actually, did it come with the screensaver of like the lines that were moving across? Do you? Yeah.
yeah, and it has a battery you could pop out from the back.
Yes. Yes. Actually,
Yeah,
that is
yeah,
the
I
phone.
have that. Yeah, I have the replacement battery. Yeah, this was from Sprint when
That's
Sprint was a thing back in the day.
that's insane. Cause you have one from that long. I had like six of those, and they kept breaking on me.
No, it still works. I still boot it up. It was my backup phone until a couple years ago until I discovered this Japanese manufacturer that makes waterproof and bulletproof phones.
That's fucking insane. I'm gonna
Yeah.
need the contact to that Japanese phone though. That sounds tough. I need
Oh
something
yeah,
like that.
absolutely. I scored a great deal on this. It is the Kyocera Dora Sport. It came out in 2021. I bought two of them, one for me, one for my fiance. They retailed at the time $499 per phone. I got two for 70.
Hey, that's two for 70.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, on eBay?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm always on eBay.
I know. I know.
Yeah, I tend to go on eBay quite a bit for digital stuff. Like it's great for speaker systems, phone systems. If you're looking for a sound bar, for example, because I know a lot about electronics. So if you know what you're looking for and you do research on the product before you go click buy, you can find some great deals.
I usually buy car parts on eBay.
Well, that's not bad. That's not bad. That's not a good idea.
Uh,
Not a bad idea.
it usually works out.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. I've never done that before, honestly. So I wouldn't buy something I haven't seen before like that if it's going on my car.
Hmm.
But for electronics, it's great for electronics for sure. And I even utilize Marketplace as well on Facebook. You
Uh,
can find some good stuff on there too at times because
y-
I've bought golf clubs from there, and I've bought golf clubs from eBay too because I collect golf clubs. But yeah, I found I have my current TV I have in my living room is from Marketplace.
Marketplace is cool, but you gotta like weed through the crazies to get
Oh
to
yeah,
to get anything of substance on Marketplace. I used to be on Marketplace like all the time looking for stuff,
yeah.
and I used to just hit people up, "Hey, is it still available?" And it'd just be like it'd be like someone like, I guess it would be fishing, or I don't even know what the term is for it, but they would put something on Marketplace knowing that they didn't have it, and then like wait for people to ask him about it, and they'll just troll you.
Well, that's why when I was looking for a TV, I made sure to look between 5 to 10 different types of TVs. So if it wasn't if that primary TV that I was looking for wasn't available, then I knew I had option B, C, D, going down the list. So that's basically how I did it. But if I for the people who are watching, I would say if you're looking for electronics, eBay is a good shot if you know what you're looking for. And honestly, I go with the buy now feature because I don't feel like losing over 4 cents.
Yeah,
I don't want to put a bid in, go to sleep,
and then
think
the
I
shit's
got it,
gone.
wake up and lost because some dude in Egypt outbid me by a nickel. I
Yeah,
ain't doing it.
I've had that happen before, but like with cars, like there was a point where I was like buying cars on eBay, and
Yeah.
like I would get to a point where like, yeah, I definitely got it, and then it was like I guess they would have like a click, what are the bots, the click bots that would put a bid in right before it closed, and
Oh yeah.
just do me dirty. But yeah, yeah, um, fun time though. I don't buy anything like that online anymore. Actually, the TV that I have right now, I got from Ollie's,
Okay.
right down the road, and honestly, that's a pretty good spot to get stuff as well. Cause like I don't
Yeah.
know where they get their stuff from. Like my TV was like brand new, but it was an open box, and it's a 65-inch LG. I bought it like maybe 2 years ago, and I spent like $300 for it,
Okay.
maybe something like that. And I know that the TV like retail for like way more than that. Um, but I don't know. I just
Was it a smart TV?
yeah.
That's a shock because I'm anti-smart TV. I bought a brand new Vizio when I bought my house, and not even 4 years later, that thing blew up on me.
You said it blew
The
up.
well, the top LED light went dim. It went dark.
Oh,
So like even when you're messing with the brightness level, it couldn't do. You still couldn't see stuff. So it was like over a $500 TV. It was like I probably spent about 550 on it. It was like a 44 or 42 inch or something, and I had to go on Marketplace. It was right before the Super Bowl, of course, a couple years ago, and I found a Samsung, an old Samsung from like 2012. And let me tell you, it's been running like butter.
see, and you got to be careful with the kind of TV brands that you buy. I noticed that like, Samsung makes great TVs. We had a
Yeah.
Samsung TV, from like, and we just got rid of it last year. That TV, we had to have had that TV for good, like since like 2013 or so, because it was like
Okay.
one of the, it was like, the curved TVs, was like one of the first ones that
Yeah.
curved. And that TV, we had, I think we got rid of it last year, and it was, and it's not because it didn't work, because like the TV still worked perfectly fine. It was just like the apps, because it was a smart TV, the apps for whatever reason just stopped working, because it had Netflix, Hulu. I think it had HBO, but it was before it was like HBO Max. It was like
Okay.
whatever HBO streaming service, but it had all these apps on it. And one by one, the apps just start disappearing. And like I'm trying to figure out like where the apps going. And my dad's
Huh.
like, I don't know. I don't even use this TV for the apps. And I'm like looking,
Yeah.
trying to find the apps through the TV. All the apps are gone. The only app that was left was Netflix, and then Netflix would work like half the time. And I'm like,
Wow.
well, I guess it's about time to get a new TV. But that TV lasted like more than 10 years, and like had no, like really no issues other than that.
Huh. Well, all my TVs are not smart. I would say the one TV I have in my bedroom I call it a dumb TV, but it works. It was from Sears, and Sears had a small company from Texas called Upstar,
I do.
and
Upstart.
Upstar was like their premium brand or sub premium brand, and I bought this 32-inch Upstar TV, and I'm thinking 2014, and I've had it for almost 12 years.
It's not
But
bad.
what I do use is I have a Chromecast upstairs. I bought the latest edition of Chromecast before they came out with Chrome TV,
Mm-hmm.
and I have a Fire Stick downstairs. And I would say that the proper terminology for how I use my cable is I rigged it. So
I mean,
I got in developer mode, and I'm able to get all assortment of free channels, free everything on both those devices.
see, I I refuse to pay for cable anymore. Like I don't even. I haven't watched like actual like real TV in the longest time. But I know you got some. You got some links to some things. I don't even know if we could say them here. Um, you know what I mean. But
Well, I
I
can
know you
always
got some
send you
links.
a link via Messenger because there
Yeah,
was one link that I told you about, and I think
I
I even
remember that.
told
Yeah, I can't
I
remember
told a
the
couple
link.
people about that I won't mention here that you can get free everything on there, and I use that one quite a bit. That's not a bad one to use, so I can send it to you via Messenger. But that works great. But I am anti-cable for this reason. I like Xfinity for their internet. I like Xfinity for their home security. But for some reason, they do not have a plan that fits me. And I don't want to have to pay for 300 channels that I'm not going to watch.
Nah, I feel you.
So when I was talking to them about it, I'm like, hey, I'm trying to find like a basic plan. They didn't have a basic plan. And I was like, well, how about you come up with a plan where I can pick what I want and that's it? They don't want to do that either, of course, because they want to rip me off. So I was like, all right, well, you give me no choice since you don't want to give me a discount for what I have. I dropped my cable a couple years ago, and I've been using these different apps and you know and using Chromecast on Fire Stick by getting into developer mode. And yes, it may sound shady, but I think that charging cable rates of triple more than what it's worth is kind of shady as well.
I have a problem with Xfinity specifically because they cut our internet off on Christmas one year.
Wow.
On Christmas. It was like it was Christmas Day and I know it was working the night before and that morning.
Yeah.
I knew it was working and I think I can't remember. We had got some game and we were trying to download it and like it just wasn't working. We are like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
And we're like looking at our phone, just like, did they did they cut the did they cut our internet off on Christmas? I was like, they could
That's
have waited.
cold.
They could have waited
Yeah.
till December 26th.
Yeah.
December 25th. They were like, you know what? Right there. So
I would say they're equally as bad as Delmarva Power. I'm not a big fan of Delmarva Power. I'm going to throw some hate towards them because I'm a numbers guy. So I calculate my usage by the day and by the month. And I've gotten arguments with Delmarva Power because I'd be like, well, based upon these numbers from this year to last year, I've saved certain percentage. So therefore, why are you charging me more for yet I'm using less, even though I know what they're doing? They're pumping up the usage, what they're charging per watt. And, and they especially doing during the wintertime. They'll charge per watt during the wintertime substantially more than the summertime.
you get hit with the delivery fees too.
I don't have a delivery fee on that, but do I? I don't know. I haven't
You
looked at
gotta
the delivery fee, but I know they charge more per watt, and their service fees have gone up. And I'm like, even with budget billing, I just think that it's kind of ridiculous.
yeah yeah. I mean everything's going up though, but that's like a
Yeah.
whole that's a whole other thing. That's a whole like uh, I don't even want to get into that right now. You said you wanted to keep it lighthearted. We gotta
Well, I can keep it lighthearted by talking smack about Delmarva Power because the math ain't math and Delmarva.
no. What I can say though is that if the temperature is under a certain like if it's under a certain degree, they will not cut your power off.
Well, I know.
So I can say that about them because I'm pretty sure they were doing that at some point and someone
Yeah.
froze to death and they were like, well,
It
I guess you
happened in
can't do it.
Texas, believe it or not. I
Oh
don't know
yeah,
if it was
no,
Delmarva Power, but it had a freeze over in Texas. They had some grids out and people died.
yeah, but Texas don't give a fuck. They, that's
You,
true. They don't care.
you know what they say about Texas? Everything's bigger in Texas. The cinnamon buns, the corn, the cereal, the bagels, and so are the blackouts.
Yeah, yeah, they got some pretty good blackouts.
Right there.
But I don't know, Mike. You got anything else to say? Yeah, I know you've been giving great advice all night. Is there anything
Yeah,
you
I've been
want to
doing
leave
pretty
leave us
good,
with?
and I'm trying to think if I got anything else to say because like I mentioned before we started here, the cliff happens, and
Yeah,
I do fall off a cliff, and it's not because I'm 90, but like when it comes to content, sometimes less is more,
yeah, that's
and
true.
so I don't want to be talking jibber jabbering for 2 hours, and then you go back through the content, and you're like, oh, I got 70 minutes worth of good content out of 140. You know what I mean? And I'm like, that's terrible.
Ah,
Right? So
that's a,
I'm all about efficiency. So I would say there's not a whole lot left to talk about per se, and I could talk a little bit longer, but I don't think if we go beyond 90 minutes, your viewers will get mad at me.
it's all good, bro. It's all good. I appreciate you for coming on.
Yeah.
First and foremost, um, like I said, you were like one of the first people that I did want to get on here, just because of, you know, it's just something about you, man. I don't know. Maybe it's the banana shirt.
You didn't even know I had this in my closet.
Nah, I had no clue.
Yeah, yeah. I have flamingo shirts. I have all sorts of outrageous attire. And that's why if I ever win the Powerball or the Mega Millions, I will have to have my fiance pick out my clothes. Because if not, it's stripes, it's polka dots. I'm gonna walk out like a clown.
Hey, man, you gotta do what speaks to you. You know what I mean? Like, fashion is all about.
I don't know if that speaks to me. It's just I'm going to do it because I can.
Hey, but it's speaking to you. I don't know, man. Like, fashion is subjective. You know, like,
Just because you have a lot of ideas doesn't mean that any of them are good, and that's where I think of. I got a lot of ideas. A lot of topics are happening, Chaz. I don't know if any of them are good.
I,
I appreciate you having me on and considering me a top 10 guest.
yeah, man.
I didn't think I was a top 10 guest, but I appreciate it.
Yeah, you for sure are, bro. You for sure are. All right,
Well,
Mike.
I'll catch you later, man.
Yes, sir. Good night.
See ya.